Subreka see boy, ye Echo Bank, Ada Roma, and Waso Yasne, Ama ye de bro.
Amandisha mamunyina ha UTV asuni omamu nsam ne amahodo so dia wosamfo asonso no ene na wie mede ebesom se kasebo ewie achiame hema eyeme ama saponkomankoma jesi ensema etodwane bi ene se oman Ghana sese ye yiwuku ada bi a ede yesi wo se eye batakari ana fugu da ya yenyina ye hye saa entade no eno bio eda nchen a NDC ayawasu East ye womo internal election omo ko ya ekowi ase vote buying bibe mu no wo kire se baba jama NDC mpanyufo atena se omo ade atomo se ono na enkose omo parliamentary candidate enkogina ondin won fufuro mu no kokoakurafo de ato Ghana amanyofo anim se womo sramo ya to omo kokoo yentwe akaye se yebesa atoso omo hawle omo dadwen no omo kanti wo sramo womo sremu ada munye mamanyo nsem na mo ya mo politics na mamu fa ma womu koko buo ni nitwia eho nsem so esa ebe ha won mo pa yebohwi kopie mu ewo sipati mpomu nso adwadefo wo ho so wono mo abuafu ese ekwan ampanyifo de won fa so wo ho no enya ade a wani eje ho ensem afofo nkaye bi eka we ni mo ho ena wie yede sommo ewo yakasebo mu na mekai mo say this way chocolate drink dey here in social face specialized mineral water and special drinks omo ebo ye chidom yantinsi ensem no emo Kane Speaker of Parliament Professor Aaron Michael Kwe ye papa ede atu edwase enano ayawasu East vote buying hun sensem ba ahwe se bi che TV bi che koko ne masa ne hun kro ne ba no ade bi a wose ye sign etna se ne ye nsakraye ede fa ya bato hun sense entwa yi.
It is a matter of allegation. As a lawyer, I don't like running into conclusions too early. But the fact is that what is good about it is there is an inquiry to look into the matter, find the truth in it, and then perhaps exact some sanctions. Let us wait patiently and see what happens. But you see, I'm not talking about individual issues. Those members of parliament sitting there, what didn't they give money? So I would like the whole system to be purified more than individual sanctioning. We must bring out systems. How do we ensure? Because in 1992, when the Fourth Republic was born, this thing was not existing. I was a special assistant to Professor Dubois. I didn't see money becoming the issue, as today, unfortunately, it is. So, since it's a systematic issue, we must all take chairs, as we say in our local languages, sit down and decide on what to do and what not to do. Look, 3 years ago, when I was chairman of the MPP Presidential Candidate Election Committee, I made a number of rules. We are still applying them. Today, people have seen how neat and decent the last MPP election was. People were talking about camping, and I really told the candidates, if you come, I will get the evidence and you'll be disqualified. Try it and see. There was no camping, but this had been a practice of the party for several years. So we will need to address some of these things systematically and systemically. In other words, by the system itself controlling human behavior and what they should do, so that when the rules are clear, we can now let the punishment come to apply home.
So your
Yatwa ensem no eso Omanpanyi John Dramani Mahama efi Zambia eba ye no na kyese ensem asi na chipa ni nyina ne se kokokuafo ebosudwete ese ye dan ye tuye koko na ye ntua ye ka sika emma ye pesika me ma kosuku kura ye nya bi Mampanyi betietie ensem no mu no wagina so afrem putupru enhyiamu ese cabinet meeting enkoso na wonhwe kwan a obetumi apa o haw na no pomasibre na ansana saa meeting beba so no na emrahye bedwa no eye dom ketwa no wono mu akasa e de afa nsem no sa aban si gina ye no animu ya wo sansem yi ho na wonhwe na kokoakuafo ni de difata wo yemfa ma wo mu afi so license buyers na yamo ho kwan so won mo ne yamo ntumi krata wotimi to koko no sike ehia na abanfa ma wo ntumi nye wadwuma na kua ni nso ekoto no koko a yentua ne ka anya saade a na ya buru wo mu abra wonsu saa ye so empanyimfo asigina ye sentempe ya won mo hwe na wasigina ye ahwe se animu ya se license buyers na aban be sam wo mu sika ama wodi ato se so wo mu ekope sika ne de abetua se de be kwa akosie no enne wonu mu enhia mu de yemputu prosuo no enumu ene ebehunu sede enema esitie na abusuafo yatoa ensam ne so a na yebebo hwi sede yaye bosumi ayesimi nititu enedai Ghana mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ekopie mu wo Zambia na wokono wo hye batakari de bi so frɛ ne Fugu mampanyi ko duru ho no na Zambia emabu na ti social media say Ghana president wa hye ma blouse se won mu hu bida enti mampanyi hye a won mu mampanyi tena ase no wo cheche mu kyerem se batakari ye niema ayeye ye kyerɛ ye bobia ne baabi a ye firi saa yoni mu enam so ama ye kasai aso ye hye yen saase ni obo ade bobre ho nsam so won ma hwe nsahwe so won nyina aka won ho abomu esesa yadwen se sa akoba ne saa ne nei Zambia fo agye atomu ehu batakari na bose ne de kandefa Ghana ho de a yenye wuku ade bia ese da ye de hye batakari ana Fugu na yebekọ ahoma ne so na yene empanyini akodi enkomo e de afa saa ensem yi eho yensa aka Yewura Gilbert Abeku Santana deputy CEO edema asoya ehwe nsahwe ene yamamre ho nsem so no na yene ne de nkomo abisa ne so ebeboa ekwan ahodo be so ye no wukwada nko a se wukwada bia ne yeyo anase yenye na fe nso afihia na se afibia no February busumi no yebe yesi wo se de enim se March eye Ghana month no biwa mo ha wie yo
to nyaba ama
si o na pom te sai
nyankopɔ adom
ye de radiase wadaru mebru ene batakari ni menye bia nhyɛ esanse enkra no amantem na sesi amonya declare no boyemu kakra ye hye ne keka na se beboa ma batakari no atumi adwadwama so ama nkofo so atobi na Ghana ha so se de enim yesumi ye ban se ye kasa ade we na se ye ya afe no obi eto ne bomu ekwan be na tourism no mo be fa so regulate ye no so a eno so enko ha yen a ye beto bi no so
yo meda wa se ene akwanya ya odi ama mi na machia hwefu nyina ye beda ye omampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama se kofa bai ono ana what to sa ama ene Fugu enya ye enibonyam kese pa afei so minister free honorable minister honorable Chifago Machi eho edema ye ahwefo nyina ene ye serious honorable mami fu awaje se de okai ne no kre naka Fugu de ye fa ne se ye afabia e free manjifi nje manjifi fo na ehye na nsemu ho hwe promote made in Ghana enyema bibri ehye na o mampani His Excellency John Mahama why consistent because bring na otukwan bia o hye Fugu no enti social media rebia e bae a e de kasa gina bae no na yehu ni se ese se yetumi eye bibi e de mfaso bia beba e na me no kasa European Union German embassy US embassy UK embassy any other diplomatic missions bibre omo nyina so ebe join ye say omo be promote eye Fugu nti yes tourism there it promote economic growth and say equity enema if you who say consul and e minister say and adentina yam fasa that agency o say Fugu day because tourism promote culture heritage and your national pride na said the okay no ebema demand akosoro omo be hye Fugu and no be ma Fugu production a ewo o mantifi no akosoro
okay
ebema o manyesika na we start say a bit to me, I'm a bona for sure now. Market forces there, sanity, but Ghana Tourism Authority bay and a family may ama, or a year to no appear here, for 2 one share, 2 yards of 4.
Yeah.
Now, when yards of 4 so a bit to me a house. The Usha demand na air cosono, Fugu na, and that was ama a year local textile production at me a costume.
Ansa na musi jina yese yenye no ukwade bia no ebinom wo kase nka yenye no February bosumi bia wa afibia mu nanka ya ye no batakari month esanse eno ene bosumi a saa nkomodie course wo social media fa mampanya tade o share ho ho no muso musem
adwene ye na so na benifo akọ ejina adwene wo muse ye de bosumi isiwa emwa odi toto yes atade ani de bia eno beboa
okay
obeka se bosumi
okay
de bia dane ye
okay
ene bosumi
okay na ebinom nso enra na mitietie radio kasafidi ahodo me nam kwasha no ebi kase batakari ni kra emu odododo ne hye ya enti ase no nso bekwa akofa ohaw ya homa no ate atomu na yepese ye papa edi enkomo yera Gilbert Abeku Agri Santana ne no twetwe enkomo deputy CEO Edema Ghana Tourism Authority na wachechem say de abeye official ye nyina wukwada bia batakari no bomodin se obepebi mo amoton so se de ye di kan aka no mo ma ye yerebo no so Ghana fo no na emmeye bodendenden a obi entobi Yentua ensem ne so na yenko ensem fufumu. Speaker of Parliament ashe ese mpanyufo nhwe na Constitution of Ghana Amendment Bill no womo ensan entrance na fe di aka ewo ho so womo pepa ho bi womo nsiesie na enema ntumi enkonkan.
On the inauguration of the 9th Parliament, I, by correspondence dated 28th January 2025, referred the bill to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice for review and comments. The Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice submitted comments on the bill by a letter dated 7th April 2025. The comments were referred to the sponsors of the bill for consideration. The committee, by a unanimous decision, advised that the bill be introduced in the House. Honorable members, I have reviewed the report of the committee and formed the opinion that the bill does not impose or alter taxation or a charge on the consolidated fund in the manner stipulated in Article 108 of the Constitution. The bill has gone through all the processes in accordance with the standing orders of the House. I therefore direct that the bill be scheduled by the Business Committee to be presented to the House for consideration. Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. The bill was taken through the relevant pre-parliamentary procedure and laid before the House on 2nd June 2022 as the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2021. Subsequent to the drafting of the bill and in pursuance of Order 186, I directed the Committee on Private Members' Bill and Private Members' Motion to consider and advise me on whether the bill complies with the relevant constitutional provisions. The committee observed that the bill complies with the relevant constitutional requirements and unanimously advised that the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025 be introduced before the House. Honorable members, I have carefully considered the report of the committee and have formed the view that the bill does not impose or alter any taxation, nor does it create a charge on the consolidated fund within the meaning of Article 108 of the Constitution. The bill has duly undergone all the requisite stages in accordance with the standing orders of the House. Accordingly, I direct that the Business Committee schedule the bill for the presentation to the House. Please, I so direct. So, Business Committee, in your next meeting, please schedule these two bills, and copies will be given to all members. And I want to call on all members to take time to read the provisions. These are two critical bills for the consideration of this House.
We have some for you to and some so. Omunya for Harina Jusu Ediatu Ejase. So we share quantum science, any technology. Yadia airboa pa anti Ghana was here dear Mushemu. Yadia who shemu. I quite be fast or boy and say. A baby who was I say. Bread says you dear, dear brain says you dear. A woman sacra anyhow any soon so. Now boy you create Juma a woman.
At an important moment for the international community, your presence here affirms our shared understanding that knowledge, science, and innovation remain central to human progress. The proclamation of 2025 as the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology by UNESCO signaled the growing importance of quantum science in the modern world. Over the past year, attention has focused not only on discovery, but on the responsibility that accompanies scientific development of our country. We still note that there are major gaps as we observe, and there are about 145 countries that are still without quantum strategies. Quantum tools are also supporting agriculture and food systems through improved sensing for soil and water monitoring and more accurate climate forecasting. For countries where agriculture sustains livelihoods such as Ghana and food security, quantum science remains significant and paramount. Ghana's engagement with the International Scientific Initiative has a foundation. The experience of the International Year of Light and light-based technologies demonstrated how global observance can translate into national capacity and lasting impact. Undoubtedly, education remains the strongest foundation for scientific advancement. Investment in teachers, researchers, and young learners will determine how important quantum science and its application would be useful in Africa and the rest of the world. The task ahead is to deepen partnership, expand learning opportunities, and encourage responsible innovation. Quantum science will continue to evolve, and access to its benefits must evolve with it. Probably instead of discussing literacy and numeracy, maybe we should be talking more about science literacy. I understand that access to science is on the recline, and even the number of engineers globally is also declining. I'm sure it reminds us to wake up and invest more in science education, in particular quantum science.
Quantum science jumadie ye mu no eni nkyeni akukudamu a wabene mu no wo hu nimdi a wobeboa na Ghana yesoso ye de ye ho adosuko wo mu no wakasa kye wadwene se eyade papa ye nsese ye nkokwasa e wo ho kra.
This year marks a centenary, but today we're not simply looking back, we're looking ahead, because the next 100 years of quantum science really have the potential to be even more transformative than the last. It's very clear that quantum science and technologies are integral to many industries, and this will only become more so in the future. It's really essential that we ensure open science and gender equality in education and research to ensure that quantum solutions are accessible to all. Technologies such as lasers, semiconductors and modern electronics, all rooted in quantum principles, now underpin our global economy. The question before us is not only what quantum science will enable, but what kind of world we choose to build with it. The future of quantum must be a shared one. That means investing in research, laboratories and hardware, but it also means investing in people, young scientists, students and innovators in every region of the world. And it means working together across nations, disciplines and cultures, because the challenges that we all face, climate change, health, energy and security, do not recognize borders. If we get this right, quantum science will do more than transform technology. It will help strengthen trust between nations, and it will accelerate solutions to our most urgent global challenges.
Talent is everywhere. The question before us, whether we continue to build pathways for that talent to thrive across borders, across governments, and across disciplines. And that brings me back to Ghana. It is fitting that we close the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology here, in the country whose leadership helped make it possible, and in a place that represents so much of what the future of global science must become. The future of science will be defined by where it is welcomed, taught, and sustained. The next generation of quantum scientists, engineers, educators, and innovators will come from everywhere. And our responsibility is not to predict where talent will emerge, but to make sure there are pathways for individual success and collective collaboration.
Ghana Revenue Authority adding Sembi Ababonten said one money and NTS Abuso kind Spare Parts Traders Association, one much said or Betia, Netuatiani Nana said, one much said VAT a year act for phobia a day by 115 no a idea a be pager one more 2 with 2 mono was it antisa Debbie and one said one year omu implementing no ye ni year bibia ni ho said the boni bi mo VAT mutua e bi beto so bibia se ni ho nto se mo monto sa ensem ni ngu na se enhwehwe ye beboa mo adwuma ni mu dwuma di aye tote na akoso no enu nti no mo nti radio strike bia enimu enti enchemu bi esefata wonsam ne ho no omo de bema mo se de be ya mo bati ondwumadie no ase eye Yeboshi na yakopiemo ewo atoye mantemu na Western North ena yeginan na kuafo a wo hono mo ena eche se koko kuafo se wo mo sre adabraka mu amode amanyofo madane wo musu a wo musu no amanyosem ye ne politics no musem mu ma omhonto wo mu omusika no mu hia de agomboto Koko kiafo ewo Ghana afane nyina etini suo dodo na ha esanse wonma muton omukoko edema Ghana Cocoa Board yentu a wonum ka amasese no omoni da so nyina asa wonum so a omunkomma na omudwumadie nyina omudi eyeso ombeton koko so ha ama ebinum ene semtrefo edi nkomo ede atudwa se ewose mampani ede nenan etiamu esanse ahohiahia omunamu no ebro omo so sei no mudi omano de sam etudwa
tu fie na so obi bedada o se ena abansisi akwankoma to ye ni ho hwe menua obi anso ni ho a wono wa ba se ya anase yakabum se ni obi kwa kwa ye he anase Western of Friday ente sa problem no but nkrofo bi ne nanam a omodidi nkomo amanyasamfo bi mu nanso ye na enim wo mu so bibi nti ye ntimi mo omudi nanso ye besere se obi an kana koma ye dai enture yam obi an se beka ne sika ye se no a ba bia sika no hye bia se bia board bi se bia gold board ho no be kwa pesika no de betu kokko kakaka no aka 20 kris ne 10 kris no ye senga sende ye di sika na wie kakete no a ye ma no se se mo be go school ya be pay school fees ye sro no a on pema ye na ka se dache se ye tumu a no de ko abuchewa mo de akoto ba bia de ato ye se no se fertilizer no na ya ton not for sale no ma for ye no for sale na no mo ton wa mo ton di awie sagofo no asa na no mo ye propaganda na say ye mo no so ye sra ba ne se omo a abambi atwam na asenkofo bi a ye namana atese Cocoa Board fo so omo deka yenso ntimi hu se aba wo ya ba ene onye hwehwemu na omo de saka no ai ma aba no ho akire no onyi firi ho na nkyere se kwafo so ye ho toye se koto kwa na odi omo bekwa omo fo omo nko na kyere se kwafo e ha bebribe ya ebai e so twamaye na aban no previous years no na last year kuko otoye otoni pepepe ntie de enim se enche bia obeba beboa ye any release bia ba eye farmers e Western of Dimu enye ye na ye ne aban ne ye no eso ye ni waboa ye yenim se enche yesika akamu no wode beble ye enti farmer bia otie no nka na komanto ne ye
Yatwa and Samno Eso. Now, Managing Director Emma Irrigation Company of Upper East Region, Ediatu Ejase. Kuyadwuma no a ekuyafo wo ho eye no edru epebra na chese eniem mu ayire papapa e de ama wo sanse nsuo ho onna teji se otwi nsuo no free brofo kwansini bi e na wo de akwa akoma ekuyafo na etete wo no ye.
When it's facing dry season farming, your irrigation is basically about the water supply. Okay. Water supply has been a challenge, and also I said that this time we've been deliberate about that by helping to defill some of the reservoirs to be able to contain enough water. Like I said, because our water we supply by gravity, so for water to move about 22 kilometers is not that easy. The speed will reduce; it becomes weak along the line, and those farmers far to the end, far up there or down there, will not be able to get the amount of water that is required for their crops to grow very well. So desilting the reservoir is one of the ways to help solve that challenge. Another thing is input. Okay, inputs. Because we do irrigation, most of the time, dry season, the inputs don't come the way they come during rainy season. Because rainy season, everybody is farming, so people are interested, the suppliers are interested in bringing down input. But this time, it's dry season, it's just us and then few people around, so it is a challenge. So what we are doing is to see how we can work with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to ensure that we make, and then other individuals and private investors to ensure that input become available. So that's why we have gone in for the Happy project that is supplying inputs to farmers during this time, and then we'll see how we can recover that at the end of the harvesting season. So as I said earlier on, we have secured 3,000 bags of fertilizer and then 20,000 kilos of foundation seed to support in that direction. We are also working with Green Fed and other individuals and the government to see how we can secure more of the input, especially fertilizer, to be able to support our farmers.
NDC internal election awono ye ewo ayawaso isebeto dwa ese ebinumo twetwe adamudie ya TV ne ho nkro ne banyina ewo mu no nipa ne din pie mu kese na ye baba Jamal empanyimfo che se NDC amanyuko no ma clear papa no ese sese o meye wono mo parliamentary candidate enkopre by election abato
ene na report committee report ayawaso is committee report no eba na say report no one significant thing na EPM and say enye about nipa ba ku bi na ye kan ho ase but e bibi a ya institutionalize to say akoso ache na edru ni mpempen so a abroso because anka osha ye elections the ekwakoto aba bi a mundi TNT bi na e de eye bibia normally ekoso na sesia de akwakodru pempenso a ebinom eche TV ebinom eche moto ebinom eche enema sebe ohwe say is beyond the grassroots na ehu akwakoba asem kakra intino your committee report no de omode bae ne say ne papemu a anka abatwo no esese yetwam ne ekoto ne foforo nanso so enema mienu na ekoye esi akwan kakra edi kan no ye constitution bibia eni ho ebetumi agina ye constitution na so aka say because of clause way anase act way anase article way no ye twa elections nim eni ehun say ye constitution ankasa no esese ye nsakraye ewum senebeya ye betumi address sa adewe because yema committee no 2 days say omonfanye nhwehwemu no omonfa report no embra no omonfa sanction enka ho nanso omde report ne ba na ehun se da bi omunya mmra bia nyina so entwa abato nim na chese ne pakra owini ye no eye lawyer Baba Jamal esese ono ankasa etoaso na echina okọ file because emre so enim yen to me can say elections for and then it's na ne akwa file for a different candidate na say Baba Jamal na NSS oko
Ewon senkro ya ho no e na twotwofo panyin de ma eni DC amanyoko no yewura fififi avikot so de ato edwase se wohwemu di a eyade a omampanyin John Dramani Mahama empanyina no wo ho ebon sa vote buy na call so wa ya waso east no se wo ma akawuro se wo chair sichire se wo chair TV se de tie bi amampanyin beto nsa afro mu nyina na de emra ne se no edi wo no.
I'm bound because we need to be presenting a candidate by tomorrow to the Electoral Commission. So given these difficulties and also there are legal challenges that could be mounted by whoever won, the party clearly will not be able to go through any of that process without presenting candidate very quickly. So in the light of that, the party effectively has taken the recommendation, which is that we, given the difficulties of time and also the legal challenges, we have no option but to present Baba Jamal, who actually won according to the Electoral Commission declaration. But the party also wants to signal that we take into consideration the step taken by the president. And the president acted purely on the back of what happened on Saturday, the allegations that he had. He asked for Baba Jamal, who was High Commissioner in Nigeria, to be recalled. We think that that was totally appropriate by the president. We also want to urge the president that apart from Baba Jamal, I think two other of the candidates also are in positions of appointment. I think they are in various boards, and similar measures to be taken as well to just show that we as a party feel that anyone who was involved in this inappropriate conduct have to be punished once they are appointed by the government. So that is definitely a step that we are recommending to the president to take. We also want to say that we are going to do a comprehensive review of the whole process that leads to our elections after our internal elections are concerned. So we are expanding the committee that was appointed. We are adding 4 more members to that committee to make a 7-member committee. And that 7-member committee will extensively come up with recommendations as to how we can once and for all deal with this, should I call it, canker, which has to do with anything that amounts to inappropriate conduct as far as elections are concerned. So we're expecting that committee to immediately resume, start its duty and then submit a report to us very, very, very soon. And we expect that that report will help us to be able to deal with this once and for all. But the final thing I would say is this, that we are conscious of the fact that this practice has been with us. Not just as the NEC, but also the NPP. We want to, for example, take note of what the IMPs came out with to say that they thought it was wrong. We agree with them that it was wrong. But we also want to admit the fact that the MPs themselves pretty much know that a lot of them who are in Parliament today cannot exactly be the one to cast the first stone, because they clearly must have done things of this nature themselves. So we need to approach this issue comprehensively and admit that in the past things have been done wrongly, and therefore we come up with recommendations that will ensure that in the future we can deal with this conclusively. What I can tell you that once those set of rules come in place, nobody will be able to escape. The party therefore will have the strength to take a clear, strong decision. Possibly, I'm sure the recommendation will include dealing very drastically with any member that goes against the recommendations to come, and therefore we'll be able to find a solution to this. That really is the point. The point is first and foremost to come up with a recommendation that will make it impossible for any cycling to be done. Two, also recommendation as to what to do if anybody, in spite of the fact that we are going to make it very difficult, if anybody still tries to do that, what appropriate steps and penalties and sanctions have to be applied.
Yanko asante mantamu na sipeti mpomu edwadifo a ewo ho na abeto dwase wosenyade obepena me yi wanfiri dwa a wo mu ne se yebeyensisie ewo ho no.
Oye kese ne directory eba so ebra asokore mampon municipal assembly no eden krata ba abonten a wo se adwadifo se baabi omote wo sepeti mpom old market ho no se adwadada no momuntu mfiri wo ebe February bosom ne de to so aduonum yensa afi 2026 no bi afiri ho se de be ya edwa no mpeso mu sini foforo no ne fa eto so mienu kire phase 2 no wo mbetimi asi asemi na anye adwadifo yi denti wo mo so tigu abonten so omo ye oye kyerɛkyerɛ omo sense say ya assembly no e de gu akwempe so tu omo na de enya ade omo te ase kra
atata we kan wan prensa e lo omo de krata abreye na do me ba na wukyerɛ mu say ayi womo ene ye kan so omo be ba bia tena na ana say omo be iska bi ye kwa ye ne ebisa omo say omo be ba bia tena na omo so omo ni ba bia omo de me ya tena ana omo say de second wa abreye ye kwa de sa na omo kan nti ene omo anka ma na nsi say ebia ye beti asa na se enti ase enti de to so prensa na say omo de krata ya sa abreye say 23rd ye ntu omo say 23 ye omo ba be bubu ntu obi apake ne nema
mbarifo mbatra se na so omo ne beka bi mu do a omo ma ye nyina esi ahomo ne nka bebi no mpo ba bi emi enko na ye nko so ye na se ya momo kwa no ma ye ne wi a baby a ye yiwo no so omo ye da bride ya ma ye na dia so dua ba
ye japade kakra ye nya ne kurom an ye gye ne apata ni story enti ye nte dabre ye betansa bante bia ba se oba ye wu apata megu nanso ye de ye ni bi ye ni mpanimfo okoma ne ni mo na bu mutaka enti apa ne to ona bu mutaka wo nkotodwa na buyi na wonti e wonfa nto da ma manim no amra no oba ni bo no ba be sia ma de a ye hye bo se de me siro ni so de ya de ma ye ma menom na je asase no wona nanom ho eno omo anu omo botom sika si ma omo ma ya tima na ye nananom ye didi apa bibia die obi fini ye se afra ni maako asede wa ba sa obetu ye nkotena fie mu ada mutaka ye sra una yenu mutaka MP wa so ase constituency una yenu yenim contract bia saboro na wa be sidia ye ni ase bia kan sa be me be atida ye bi odi ade ma ye na say ho na ase ba ye no a ya wo no age efie ni wo twa wansi ye no ade de ye mpene so tie sra ni ya sra mutaka won ka be ma ye Yantua ensem no so ewo NDC amanyoko no emu na Deputy Communications Officer Kogan e de atodwa se party no se NDC omu wan hyehyeye tia vote buying na so se se kora de omu ba yiri mu pa na obi bia so a wafom no enya de asa nipa no kora obefa ne ho adi tototo
edrum pempenso bi a ensese ebisi bio ewo NDC party nim one esese yetumi protect wonoma omo dwene omaye NDC adwuma omo dwene NDC ho yi asebe sika eni ho a so person call regional position national constituency and a branch position kra na oniska no esese ye protect sa enkrofo no nti esese ye di bibi ehye guideline ni mu a ebe kire so obi ekwakoto aba na se omo obi sika anaso ye bibi na se ye hu o se camera chi no nipa kra o ma no kra so video a esese ye disqualify o na se eno so be preventive ama obi a wakwakonya ne sika bi a opese odete but akwakoba na se ye ntumi enyusu wo ayawaso east by elections mo because eno de to na bro na ye kwakoto aba nanso so bibi a SSNT 2 days e de ma committee no ya sign so I extend on mandate se omonhwe na saa eniema no yempe ne friends faribai ewo ye constitution enunti no ye de nipa 9 aka committee ne ho na ye 3-man committee se na kwakọ ye 7-man committee ye de nipa baako from parliament ababeka ho ye de others from your friend is saying functional executive committee aka ho senebeya will have a broader view of the situation at hand na yenya fair recommendations are ye de call your constitution ni mo a ebetumi aboa yen
You abusiafo ya da so a ejina NDC amanyoko ni mwanti ya yenya ne se Baba Jama ye kasa ye de wotumi akofile ni nomination asese wo kwa akopre ni ti wo sa ensam no ho no wakogina se parliamentary candidate wo NDC dinemo na by election no wakwa akopre edwa no de ama NDC ye be konsem foforo mu ani etie sikua mu onmunyamfo Erikopoku nso de abasa aban na makonua saso a wo boa akuafo a wo man ni nyina wode nam feed Ghana dwumadie no so.
Mr. Speaker, for this year, the ministry through the Feed Ghana program has provided nationwide support to smallholder farmers by supplying essential farm inputs, including improved seeds of tomato, rice, and maize, as well as fertilizers to boost crop production. In addition to individual farmers, the ministry extended input support to key institutions such as the National Service Authority, the Ghana Prison Service, and some farmer-based organizations to enhance their agricultural productivity. Again, the national buffer stock is being strengthened to mop up excess food produce from the systems as part of the strategy to ensure all year-round food supply. Regional directors have also been placed on alert to inform the ministry and buffer stock of any excess produce occurring in their regions for immediate mop-up action. Mr. Speaker, these interventions collectively promote fair and inclusive access to food across Ghana by 1. Enhancing productivity in underserved regions by targeting all the agroecological zones. The ministry ensures that food production is not concentrated in a few areas, reducing regional disparities in food availability. We are also supporting institutional farms. Farm inputs to the prison service, the National Service Authority, and other institutional bodies help stabilize food supply in public institutions and government programs like the school feeding program, reducing pressure on local markets. Mr. Speaker, the impact of these interventions is reflected in Ghana's recent food inflation trends. According to Ghana Statistical Service, food inflation dropped to 3.9% in December 2025, down from 28.3% in January 2025, when the NDC government took over. This decline suggests improved food supply and price stability, driven by increased domestic production and reduced reliance on imports.
We are the Shemaima na yebesre mu ahome so atonkra ye ba bongo di fara aboabo agudie mu nsema no a wode ebeto aso ama ye nansa na no me kai wo semata ade ye clothing palace ene de ehye me mu Accra Central mu ne lava abrosan na di nhwe ni mu pacho fro wonom e wo 0271 988 313 0271 998 313 pacho onsa ebeka wonom e wo honom medam ase yabasisia.